Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm gonna take a moment to get set up on Instagram here. So as always, if you see me doing one of these numbers, you know why. Okay, checking connection and then going live. Yeah, going live. And hello, Instagram. We're back with another installment of our weekly educational webinar series called Wisdom Wednesdays. I really like these because between myself and the rest of the team over at CommonTime, we feel that part of our duty as trying to cultivate this arts community that's inclusive is to make sure that we're doing what we can, not only to educate you all about our products and some of the things that we do here, but also to give you some insight into education from our perspective, to give you some insight into teaching in the 21st century, and to give you some insight in some more virtual methods that can help support and sustain the teaching efforts that you're currently making. My name is Michael Skiller, and I am the Education and Outreach Coordinator here at CommonTime Online. We are live right now on the CommonTime site, and we are also live right here on our Instagram page. I hope that wink looks cool. If you see me doing the looky-loo, it's because I've got two cameras here. And actually, let me see if I could just set it up so that it's not so looky-loo. That's better. Now I can kind of look at both of them at the same time. I should have been doing this. The fact that no one suggested this it's a travesty. I always start these off by telling people, what is CommonTime? CommonTime is an all-inclusive platform that is your new home for the arts. We're looking to engage learners, empower artists, and expand arts outreach by giving educators the opportunity to bring world-class guest artists into their classrooms, helping artists find work and make money with sharing their art through the way that our platform gives them the power to set their own prices when they visit these schools or conduct lessons or anything on the platform, and set their own schedule. And we're also giving arts organizations the opportunity to expand their outreach by giving them a home for pre-recorded and live streamed events that they are doing. We want to connect artists, educators, individuals, and arts organizations through a purpose-built video conferencing system that allows you to host video here live and pre-recorded, that allows you to, as an educator, bring in guest artists from around the world to work with your students. As an individual, you can find that guitar teacher, that piano teacher, that percussion, that drum teacher, that vocal coach. You can find them here. And as an arts organization, like I said, you can create brand new digital content or use us to host live stream accompaniments to your in-person offerings. We are using this platform to connect the arts community of all disciplines, all nationalities, and of all spoken languages, and even the unspoken ones, like the arts. Yeah, that's deep. I feel like if this were the 90s, people would be snapping. Today, for Wisdom Wednesday, we are talking about how we empower artists. The official title of this was Beefing Up Your Resume with CommonTime. But we're going to be talking about how we at CommonTime like to empower artists. And I want to highlight two ways we do this. And the ways that we help empower artists also help you beef up your resume, your CV, build experience. We're here to support all the parts of our community, especially the artists. And the way that we do that, I'm going to talk about two ways that we do that. Number one is by giving the artists a resource that brings them into classrooms, into students' homes, into these arts organizations around the world. I'm going to highlight our 10 member educators of the day. These are the type of people that you could be working with as a CommonTime artist. These are the type of institutions that are using our platform to bring in guest artists into their rooms. Why are they bringing in guest artists? They're bringing in guest artists to perform new art. They're bringing in guest artists to showcase their work. They're bringing in guest artists to help teach and introduce new and exciting ideas and concepts to their students. They're bringing in guest artists from around the world to add global context and that cultural cross-cultural connection to their students. They're bringing guest artists as a form of differentiation to change the types of learning experiences that they're provided. These are all reasons that people are bringing in guest artists. If you're working in the arts now, then you know that bringing in a guest artist is kind of part of the arts, and as a musician in music school, my high school and my university, both of them, frequently had guest artists coming in, performing master classes, giving lectures, hosting recitals, giving you a new insight from someone of a different background into the art that you love and are passionate about. Aside from teaching and performing and presenting in that way, working directly with one of our many member clients, the second way that we're going to empower artists today that I'm going to talk to you about, and the second way that you can beef up your resume using CommonTime, is the CommonTime International Arts Festival. We are hosting an arts festival on December 3rd and 4th that has many, many different types of sessions across theater, dance, visual arts, and music happening all throughout the day on both those days that you can sign up, register for, and attend at a low cost to you, the viewer. And those are the two ways that we're going to talk about how we empower artists today and support you by giving you the opportunities to beef up your resume and do some more teaching, some more playing, some more performing. This company was born in the pandemic. And during that time, a lot of our artists were stationary. They were stagnant. There wasn't much going on. But now that, in the words of a rapper that I won't name, now that we outside, it's time to get back to it, and CommonTime is supporting you and helping you do just that. So, number one, our 10 educators of the day. These 10 educators are across many disciplines on multiple continents. And I'm telling you this just to give you an example. As an artist on the CommonTime platform, these are the type of people, these are the type of institutions that are going to be using our platform or are already using our platform to bring people in, to bring guest artists in and give you an opportunity to share your art. Because as we know, artists are rare. We're at a premium. And schools are itching to get guest artists in. But between COVID, the price of flights, the price of accommodation, the logistics, the visas, for many, many schools in many countries, bringing in guest artists, especially international ones, is just not possible. But with CommonTime, that connection is made right here on our platform. Educator number one, we have a fantastic music teacher teaching secondary music and guitar at the American International School of Lagos in Nigeria. Artists, have you ever done a master class? Have you ever presented work? Have you ever played a recital in Africa? What about in Nigeria? What about Lagos? For me, that's a definite no. For many of you, that also might be a no. But if you're looking to expand your horizons, expand your teaching, and beef up that resume, opportunities like this are ones that will come to you on the CommonTime platform. This educator is going to be looking for musicians, guitarists, and even musicians of other disciplines to come into his class to talk about their lives, their career, to perform for the class, to showcase guitar techniques. And we have, I think, 2 or 3 professional guitarists on our platform now that I'm going to be working to connect to this educator so that they can get out and get their first performances and their first master classes in Lagos. One of the things that we love about CommonTime is that when you do these guest artist relationships like this, for example, one of our guitarists is from Hong Kong. Can you imagine incorporating a Cantonese or a Mandarin lesson into your guitar class? Or could you imagine her speaking to a general music class talking about the Eastern Asian music traditions? Those type of global contexts, that constructivism, those cross-cultural relationships are the ones that we love and are passionate about building here at CommonTime. Educator number 2. I've got a list here. That's what I'm looking down. We've got a secondary visual arts teacher. She's teaching primary and secondary, I think, at the LS Rahiha School of the Arts in Mumbai, India. This is an example of an educator that will be looking to possibly bring in a Western person to show them art from a different perspective, to show them a different type of art, to give the students an experience that they haven't seen before, to also maybe incorporate a lot of English into their studies, since a lot of the international schools abroad are focusing on learning English as well. This is an example. So far, we've been on 2 continents, and these are the type of experiences as an artist that you will have on the CommonTime platform when these educators that are all CommonTime members, everyone that I'm going to mention today is a CommonTime educator, and they use our platform to bring in these guest artists to enrich their teaching. Number 3, you've got a film and a film writing professor at the Aristoteles University of Thessaloniki. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And they're out in Greece. This particular teacher teaches script writing and creative writing. And you'll notice on the CommonTime platform, we also support the theater and drama discipline. Right now, we have an actress on our platform who also produces and directs, and she has been matched to this school. So she'll actually, in the near future, be making the virtual trip out to Greece to give them her perspective on what it's like to read a script as a producer, what it's like to read a script as a director, and then what it's like to read a script as an actor, to help them progress in their learning, help them make sure that their story is coming across. And once again, giving them a different perspective. Not only is she reading their scripts as a producer or a director, but she's reading them as an American producer, an American director who lives in Hollywood, who lives in LA now and is working in that field. So those are the type of experiences that if you're living in Greece, there may not be an LA producer that's available to come and speak to your students and read excerpts from their scripts. There just might not be, but with CommonTime, there is now. Okay. Educator number 4. Even though CommonTime is primarily an arts platform, we know that the arts are the ultimate interdisciplinary subjects. And going along with that theme, non-arts teachers are also CommonTime members and frequently use our service to bring in guest artists into their classroom. Oh, Tanesh is here on the Instagram live stream. Hey, Tanesh. What we're talking about today is 2 different ways that CommonTime actually supports our artists, one of which is by making them available to educators, teachers, arts organizations, and individuals internationally. And we're highlighting that by showcasing 10 educators of the day and the institutions they work at to give new artists an idea of the type of institutions and people they'll be collaborating with. Then the second thing, we're going to talk about the CommonTime Arts Festival. So I hope you stick around. Like I was saying, non-arts teachers also use this platform. We have a math teacher. And the reason I'm not giving out these people's names is because CommonTime has an airtight privacy policy. I would never share out these people's names and where they work like this. Somebody might be looking for them. You never know. I've seen too many movies. But this math teacher is at the International School of Stuttgart in Baden, Germany. And he's teaching math. So we actually matched this particular teacher. We had a matchmaking promotion where we matched different educators with artists from the CommonTime platform. And this particular teacher, we matched with a composer because when I checked the standards that they use at this school, one of their big lessons is pattern making. So we are having a composer go out there and talk about pattern making from a different angle, talk a little bit about 21st century composition and some of the mathematical operations like using the inverse of a pitch class set and other things like that to make that connection between music and math for them. These are the types of experiences that our educators are having on the CommonTime platform, and we want you artists to be a part of it, which is why we empower you by making you available to these types of experiences. Even for non-arts teachers, they're calling you in. Next, now this is an interesting one this particular educator is at the University of Colorado, which I think is in Boulder, Colorado, out in the western United States. You got to excuse the sniffles. And this teacher is an educational technology teacher that works in teaching teachers about technology for the classroom. So, my first thoughts for this are that number one, our composers are usually well versed in technology, but we also have two music producers on our platform that do DJing and digital music production. And an educator like this will be looking for people like that to come in and kind of show the art side of that. Oftentimes, when you think educational technology, you're thinking of using the Google Suite or OneNote and OneDrive and other things like that. Or maybe you're using Nearpod or Lumio, or maybe you're using IXL, or you're using even Accelerated Reader was educational technology, Hoopla at one point, or maybe you're using Kahoot. But most of these things that at least I learned from the educational technology training in undergrad were not arts based. They were just more general education. But with CommonTime, we've got that arts focus that you have been yearning for. Once again, we're a purpose-built, inclusive arts platform. So an opportunity like the University of Colorado, that will give you an opportunity as a visual artist or a musician, or even for our dancers and our theater folks too, to get in there and show what educational technology looks like in your field. If you're a musician, showing Soundtrap, showing what a kid-friendly digital audio workstation looks like. If you're using visual art, showing how to use Photoshop for children or how to use some other comparable programs that are maybe more kid-friendly. Coming in and giving a demonstration on the Kandinsky application on Chrome Music Lab, for example. These are the types of connections that we're building on the CommonTime platform, and you could be a part of it. All right, this is our educator number 6. And once again, we're highlighting these educators to give you an example of how we like to empower and support our artists by making them available to teachers and institutions, educators, individuals of all types, from all disciplines, from all corners of the globe, in our effort to help you share your art more. This is our 6th spotlighted educator. This is an art teacher working for the Oregon Society of the Arts in Portland and the National Guard Arts Association, a few different institutions out in Oregon. And this person specializes in calligraphy, lettering, and mural making. So this particular institution and educator would probably be looking for a visual artist from our platform to come in and help the students design murals, help them investigate and explore different techniques. And my favorite part of that, she does calligraphy. So we've got visual artists from Germany who can introduce writing German in their calligraphy font and what the art is behind that and the technique behind that. We've also got an Indian art teacher who could go through probably a few different languages and teach these students calligraphy outside of just English. Teach them so many cultures. Once I started traveling, especially in Asia, the Chinese, the Korean, and the Arab people too, I'm in Dubai now, love calligraphy. And I always thought that different language characters looked really cool, as an American, like I really only speak English. But I had only connected that idea of calligraphy with writing in English, really pretty, But do your students know that all cultures kind of have value in their written language and preserving that language and writing it beautifully? These are the type of cross-cultural connections that we want you to be a part of on CommonTime. Imagine going into Portland virtually and working with these students and teaching them how to write in Hindi or maybe one of the local dialects that this artist might speak. It's an awesome opportunity. Number 7, we've got a music teacher in Indonesia at the Jakarta International School. That's the capital of Indonesia, big city. And this person is specializing in primary and secondary general music and also strings. So I would imagine this institution and this educator would be looking for a music professional to come in, possibly to give a master class on string techniques, possibly to give a recital to give their students an eye-opening experience. We also offer private and group lessons via the CommonTime platform. So maybe this educator wants to send their violas off for a sectional with one of our international string educators. I think at this point we have a handful of orchestral string specialists on the platform that will be available to make a cross-cultural connection with a student at this school. Likewise, Western music in many respects is still very new to a lot of non-Western countries, which gives us a great opportunity for a cross-cultural connection. Having someone from one of those cultures present that music to these students in Jakarta, I think would be not only eye-opening for the students, but also a great opportunity to learn about a different culture for our artists as well. And that's what we're trying to do here is connect artists, individuals, educators, and arts organizations, no matter their location. Next, we've got a dance teacher at the IB International School of Bern out in Switzerland who's specializing in contemporary dance, ballet, martial arts, and movement. So, thankfully for this teacher, we have several dance artists that are working on the CommonTime platform, and they will be looking for someone to come in and enrich their students, either by showing them something new, helping them enhance what they already have, working with students individually, being a guest artist and spending 2 or 3 days with their students as a residency type deal. These are some of the types of sessions that we offer on the CommonTime platform. And these are the types of institutions that need artists like you to come in and give their students a global perspective. Number 9, we've got a studio art teacher out in Puerto Rico that works heavily with exploring different art mediums and different techniques. When I think of this, one particular CommonTime artist comes to mind who is kind of a dual threat. And not only does she create stunning visual art, but she has a deep passion for architecture. So when it comes to exploring new mediums and new techniques, why not bring in someone from Germany like this artist who can explain architecture and using different types of building materials and give that perspective to your students? And that's a perspective that they may not have available to them currently, and CommonTime makes that possible. Our last educator, and for the new folks joining, we are going over our 10 educators of the day, talking about some of the different institutions that are supporting us at CommonTime as we work to empower and support our artists. We have a music and languages teacher in Canberra, Australia. This teacher teaches instrumental music, but also French and Spanish. So this is really cool because CommonTime is a multilingual platform. We have artists covering all types of languages, many different languages, including both French and Spanish. So how often would a teacher like this have the opportunity to not only bring in a musician to work with their students or perform for their students, but also bringing in a musician that can conduct sessions in French, or bringing in a musician that can conduct sessions in Spanish to further connect with their students? I think the opportunities with this are really endless, and I'm excited to be hosting a CommonTime session coming up very soon with Andrew Sally, who's out of Indiana, and he's a low brass specialist. I'm going to have him come in and do a group lesson with some of my brass players that are beginners. The beginning process of learning an instrument, I think, is so beautiful. Just like watching those little aha moments. But at the same time, I'd like for this guest artist to watch them too and give me a hand, which is why I'm using the CommonTime platform to do just that. So those are 10 examples of some of the places you could go virtually while you are working as an artist on the CommonTime platform. They support us to support you. All right, the second way that we empower artists, and I wanted to highlight in the second way that you can beef up your resume, is by hosting a CommonTime event. As an artist, you have the power to create an event like a recital or a masterclass or a webinar or a lecture. You have the opportunity and the power to set up and schedule an event just like the ones I described, then promote it out to your community while we also promote it. And then that event can be ticketed. You can charge money for that event. The people can sign up, register, pay you all right here on the platform. And then, of course, they can attend that session right here on the platform as well. To spearhead and get this feature more known, we are hosting the CommonTime Arts Festival, and this will give you a good example of how you can host events on the platform. The CommonTime Arts Festival is a 2-day arts festival we're hosting where we're going to have several, I think maybe 12 or 13 sessions featuring musicians, dancers, actors, and visual artists across those 2 different days. And they're going to be doing different types of workshops, kind of lecture demonstrations or performances. Some will be interactive, some may not be, and they're going to be covering a wide range of topics. And I want to give you the list of the artists that we're going to be working with and the type of sessions that they're going to be having, ticketed and live, promoted by us and them, and hosted right here from scheduling to registering to payment, all right here. So one of the sessions is actually by me. I'm doing a pencil drumming lecture demonstration / workshop type deal where as a kid, I always got in trouble for that, for beating with pencils. But now as an educator, I'm able to take that pencil drumming, break it down into different technical parts, have our students using an online drum machine to create their own rhythms and then do them with their pencils, and then also breaking down some famous grooves from popular music and then using our pencils for good instead of for evil. That'll be taking place on December 3rd. And granted, promotion about this will all be coming out shortly. Currently, the only way that you can book any of these sessions is by going to the artist profile on CommonTime.online, where you can find them and register and sign up for these sessions. On the 4th, which is the next day, I'll be doing a 4 Mallet Madness session where this will be for percussion students that are learning how to hold 4 mallets, where I'll be going over the different techniques, playing with one, playing with both, alternating them, changing intervals. I'll be going over the different techniques and applications of playing 4 mallets while also performing in between. So I'll introduce a technique, then use it, introduce another part of the technique, then use it, so on and so forth. And the last session that I'll be doing is a rhythmic sensitivity workshop. You know, one of my old professors always said that people expect drummers and musicians in general to just have good rhythm and good time. But having those things is not a guarantee just because you chose to play the drums. This session is geared towards musicians that are interested in finding that true meaning of playing in time, the true meaning of what it means to be rhythmic. And that workshop will be on December 3rd. Once again, if you head over to Michael Skillern under the Artist tab at CommonTime.online, you can see and register for these events. Next, we've got Manon, who is a wonderful dancer, and she is delivering her session called Contemporary Ballet and Movement Creation on December 3rd as well. And she's offering this session in both English and French. So once again, you as a CommonTime artist on our platform have the power to host events just like this. Now, all of our events for this arts festival are happening on these 2 days because we kind of earmarked that as our festival. We wanted to build that as a special event. But you can host your event whenever you want. All you do is click on the events tab under your profile, Fill in the form with the name of your event, the number of people you would like, any instructions or event descriptions, and the price. Then you promote it, we promote it, and then you put on your masterclass or your recital or your performance. Next, we have Cassandra Ormsby, who's giving a solo bassoon house concert and masterclass, where she'll be playing some awesome bassoon music while also talking bassoon technique and application. That'll be on December 3rd as well. Next, we've got Brenda Poon out of Hong Kong, who will be offering this session in English and Mandarin and Cantonese. And her class is entitled Pocket Rudiments for all those drummers out there. And she'll be demonstrating and showing application and technique behind the different drum rudiments. And that'll be taking place on December 3rd. Once again, you can be hosting events just like this. Next, we've got Josh Alexander, who will be presenting a class in English on structure as process in hip hop writing, where he'll be taking you through his process for writing hip hop music and hopefully get you on your way to writing your first hip hop tune. This will be on December 4th. Back to the third, we've got Han Chong, who's doing an improv for everyone theater workshop that's going to get you laughing, get you giggling, and have you improvising with your whole heart. I actually want to go to this one because that sounds fun, and I had the chance to meet this gentleman, and he looks really fun. Next, we've got Sydney Scherer, who's going to be presenting a virtual performance of her clarinet, flute, bassoon trio called the Voodoo Trio on December 4th. Once again, any names that you hear in this, just go to commontime.online, click the artist tab, and you can book and register for these events and pay as well. All these sessions are starting at $5. Currently, they're listed for $5, but we are working out the kind of like website engineering side of offering a pay what you can feature. So their tickets will be starting at $5, but hopefully once our development is there, you'll be able to pay what you feel is appropriate starting at $5. You might think the trio is worth $30. I think it's worth $50, but that's just me. Next, we've got Kanchana, who will be presenting a session in both English and German on art and architecture, where she'll be showcasing art, showcasing architecture, things that she's designed and drawn, showing the connection between fine art and architecture, and showing examples and workshopping some of her own art to give a new perspective of what visual art is. So I think that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sessions that are going to be taking place over the course of 2 days, where we're talking music, theater, drama, visual art, and dance. Coming soon, we will have new functionality on our website that will allow you to see the CommonTime Arts Festival front and center. There'll be an option for you to book all of the sessions, or of course, book just these. Likewise, all of these sessions will be available for download and purchase. So for you educators out there that only teach a class from 1 to 2, and the schedule doesn't work out for you, you will be able to come back and download these and show them to your students and get them involved. Let's recap. Today, we're talking about how you can beef up your resume, feel empowered and supported by the CommonTime platform. And we do that by making you accessible and available to educators and institutions around the world that are looking for artists to come in as guest artists in their classrooms, their offices, their arts organizations, their recital halls. And then lastly, we give you the power as an artist to host masterclasses, host recitals, host performances, and beef up your performing and presenting part of your CV and resume by allowing you to host your own events. You host your event, put the title, the description, you market it, we market it, you fill it up, you get paid, all right here on the platform. At CommonTime, we're committed to engaging learners, empowering artists, and expanding arts outreach for organizations, and by connecting our educator, individual, artist, and arts organization community through live, virtual, engaging sessions just like this one. As always, stay tuned for more info on the CommonTime International Arts Festival. I can be contacted at michael@commontime.online. Interact with us on LinkedIn at CommonTime Online, Instagram at CommonTime.online, Facebook at CommonTime Online, as well as our interactive Facebook groups, Facebook for artists and Facebook for educators. And keep the arts going. Keep the arts going. Thank you for coming in, and we'll see you next Wednesday.